Veteran Hollywood stuntman Will Harper has always had a need for speed.
There's just an excitement to it. You know, maybe for some people they would just get terrified or the adrenaline would make them almost sick. But the way I'm wired, it just feels good. It's exhilarating.
As a teenager, he started racing motocross.
By the time I was 18, I'd actually won a pro championship locally here in Southern California. And I felt like I was on my way, and a lot of people said, man, you're gonna be world champ, you got it. It was a sense of accomplishment. I think I wanted to do it better than anybody else. I wanted to be somebody.
Racing took a toll on his body, and injuries forced him to retire at the age of 25.
I was angry at God. This isn't fair, it's not right. I tried so hard, and I had so much promise, and it was just dashed on the rocks.
Around this time, a friend offered him work doing motorcycle stunts in movies and television.
I still had good skills, and I didn't have to win a race. All I had to do was ride well enough to get a shot, which I could do that easily, and quickly became a top stuntman in Hollywood. The A-Team TV series, I doubled Sylvester Stallone in Rambo, or the First Blood movie.
While working on the movie The River with Mel Gibson, he found out how dangerous stunt work really was.
I'm beating the windshield out as they're driving in about 5 miles an hour, and then I jump up to go after Mel, and the guy next to him is supposed to throw me off, and 6 stunt guys are running to catch me. They got all fired up, and they knocked my safety guys out of the way. I bounced off one of them, went right under the truck, and I got those dual rears right over my chest. And it sounded like dried twigs snapping. It was horrible. I knew I was dead.
Amazingly, Will survived. But now, too banged up to do stunts, he needed something to give him purpose. So he started racing stock cars. He also married, and he and his wife started a construction business.
At this point, I thought, okay, well, maybe if I'm rich, you know, if I make a bunch of money, I'll be happy.
He soon found out that money wasn't enough.
A darkness came into my life. My older brother died, 40 years old. My racing just tanked. It was weird. My first wife, she and I were involved with the construction, but I really didn't like her. I didn't like construction. I didn't like anything.
Searching for answers, he went to a friend to talk things out. His friend smoked crack, and after a few beers, Will made a fateful decision.
I said, you know what, give me that pipe. And he's like, no, you don't want to do this. And I said, no, give it to me. And I started smoking crack right then and there. It just took me like a rocket ship to the moon. Unfortunately, with that stuff, the next thing you know, you're like a free-falling safe going to hell. That drug is like nothing else, because in a matter of 6 months, I didn't have a wife, I didn't have 2 race cars, a hauler, an ocean racing boat, or a house, or anything.
For the next 10 years, Will used and sold crack. He also married, and the two stayed high. He moved his family to Montana to get a fresh start, but soon started using and selling crystal meth, and police took notice.
I had a premonition that we were going to get busted, and I left the house, and my wife went back there. I told her, don't go back there. I'm telling you, we're getting busted. And she went back, and the cops pounced on her, and she got arrested. And our baby Will, he got into protective custody. And so I'm hiding out. I don't know what to do. They've got her, they've got my baby, and they're looking for me.
While riding in a friend's car, Will says he had a vision.
I could see myself at Woodside Market, just like I'm watching a video, and I'm getting arrested. And I'm standing there with all these cops around.
Will knew the vision came from God.
God's the only one that truly knows the future. I remember saying something very strange at that time. I told the girl, I said, you know what, just go to the Woodside Market. If I get arrested, how I told you, that's God's answer for me. And the very first car that drove by was a Valley County sheriff. It was just like somebody pointed me out, because he just looked me right in the eyes and pulled in there. And the next thing I know, I'm handcuffed, and all these cops are there, and I'm seeing the exact scene that I'd seen in my mind.
Will faced a 100-year prison sentence, and by now he and his wife were divorced. But he knew that somehow God had a purpose in his arrest.
You know, God, I always believed in you, but I never thought you were quite this personal. And I said, just tell me what to do. You know those vacancy, no vacancy signs that flash, they're little tube fluorescents? I could see that in my head going, read the Bible, read the Bible.
For 4 months, Will studied the Bible. And one day,
I was reading about Jesus on the cross, and he just died, and the centurion said, this is an innocent man, this is the Son of God. And right at that moment, I just burst into tears. And all of a sudden, I got born again and saved right there on the spot. I knew who Jesus really was. It wasn't just words. I had an understanding for the Bible. I went from hating it to loving it.
Will was discipled by a local pastor that worked with inmates. Also, the judge reduced his sentence to only 2.5 years.
It was so overwhelming in so many ways, and I felt his love. And I felt free for the first time. And I truly was free.
He was released on parole, and he called his brother Tom, who was also in the film industry. The two hadn't spoken in years.
I said, hey, if you want to, you could come work on Iron Man 2, if it's okay with your PO. And so I asked, and they said, yeah, that would be all right, I get a travel permit.
Will still works on movies with his brother. He's also back to racing motocross. In time, he reconciled with his son. And now the thrills and his purpose come from a different source.
Don't get me wrong, the stunt business is incredible. It's exciting. The motorcycles, it's all exciting. But it's nothing compared to working for God. Working for the creator of the universe, I mean, it's a privilege and an honor, but to me, it just does something inside my heart. When I got born again and accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior, up till that point, it seemed to me like everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong in my life. And now, I embrace the day, even the hard days. I'm excited about life. What a difference. What a difference a Savior makes.